Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Opinion Machine, the show where we talk about all things gaming. My name is Killjoy, and today we're talking about Borderlands 4, but not in the way that I would have liked or intended to. Basically, this video is about how this game, even after a couple of patches, even at this point, I am still having crashes with it. I really wanted to be here talking about how much I enjoy the game. I really did, because I do like this game, and I do enjoy playing it. I've managed to somehow put 16 hours into it, even though I get regular crashes within about 20 to 40 minutes of play, sometimes even faster than that. But this game has been handled poorly on PC from the launch of it, right? Now, just so you guys understand, that's the wrong menu, if I bring up the options, in the advanced options, the game was basically defaulting to the very high preset, right? I have knocked it down to high. I have set the game up in the way that Gearbox had suggested. So I'm using an AMD card. I'm using a Radeon RX 7800 XT. So I know that I have enough oomph in my computer. You can see at the top here, with the looking to the top right, you've got the frames per second, the GPU and stuff like. Not like it's not that FPS is low. I went through and turned a bunch of stuff down to medium. There's still some stuff on high here, but I turned a bunch of stuff down to medium. And basically knock things down because I wanted the game to kind of look okay-ish. I wasn't too worried about how it looked, but I wanted it to run well. And so if I come out of this menu, you're seeing right now I'm getting a very like a 50 frames. Not ideal. It does kind of fluctuate. If I look up and stuff, you'll probably see it's more like 60. Some of the lighting and things like that. If I go outside, you'll see that it's probably going to. I would not be surprised, by the way, if the game crashes while I am doing this, because it has a tendency to do so. But you know, I am getting enough of a way of playing this where I'm like quite happy with it. Now, let me show you what the issue actually is. So, before you get to this map, and this map is pretty big. I'm very early on, right? I've not even been to these places, right? Before you get here, you have a starting area of the game. Absolutely fine, no issues. And then you'll see that these parts are actually split into sections. Now, this section here, no issues, no crashes, no nothing. This section is where all my problems keep happening. So there's this whole like wooded area here, which is fine. But this area here, where this big place is, look, I've been in some of this place, this bit, this bit, this bit. This, for some reason, is what's causing my crashes to happen. It's not to say I haven't had crashes in some of these other areas. I've had maybe one, compared to most of my crashes are coming from these building things. I don't know why this is the case. Bear in mind, my computer does meet the minimum requirements at least. I've got an 8-core CPU. I've obviously got the Radeon 7800 XT, is the graphics card, and I have 16 gig RAM. Yes, they're a little bit on the older side, but not enough to make a big difference to this game. If I really wanted to, I could push the game up on the higher settings, aim for 30 frames, hunky-dory. Obviously, I can also put them down as well. My issue right now is that I am sat here waiting for these patches, and every time a patch comes out, I'm like, okay, we'll try that. But there is something fundamentally wrong with this game and with Unreal Engine, and it's something that it's the second game that I've played, the first being Clair Obscura, that's for a later date, we'll come to that in another video. The second game being this, where I can play other games, I can play older games, I can play other games that are on Unreal Engine 5, this game in particular just seems to have issues, and I don't know how to fix it. I have tried the advice from what they said, how to set up your AMD card. I have waited for the patches. I have gone off the rails and tried to do a bunch of other things. I've even tried to run the game in DirectX 11, which doesn't actually work because there's no functionality for it there. So I'm at a point now where I'm like, well, I can't even refund the game on Steam. Like, maybe I could if I explained the situation, but I'm 16 hours into the game because I really wanted to play it and I really enjoy the game. But as of right now, I cannot recommend this game to anybody on PC. I don't know what the console version is like. I hear that it has some issues. But if you're thinking about getting this game, just wait. Just wait until there's like, you know, probably early next year or something, when there are more patches out, when the game has had a lot more love. Right now, I'm incredibly frustrated at Gearbox and I'm incredibly frustrated with AMD, right? If the problem turns out that it was something with my computer, then fair enough, right? But that doesn't seem to be the case. I have no issues with any other games. Everything else seems to run absolutely fine. The only thing that I could do to really test this is to put my old graphics card back in and see how the game would run like at 30 frames and see how it works. But as far as I'm concerned, like, I am incredibly disappointed with how they've handled this game. It's not just me with these issues, by the way. Like, this isn't just like an isolated incident. I've been on Reddit, I've been online to look at what other people, Steam forums, places like that, to see that other people with Nvidia cards, people with AMD cards have had the same issue. Now, I haven't looked at super recently. Oh, look, there's a crash. Perfect. Perfectly timed to prove my point that this game does not run very well. So when it decides to properly crash out... Oh no! It recovered! Oh. That is the... Well, live. We're seeing that live. I have never had the game do that before. It's actually recovered, which is quite impressive. How bizarre. Bear with me 1 second, folks. It did actually time out. That's... Oh, interesting. Okay. Right. Well, now we're going completely off script. So that the game has flagged, or my AMD card has flagged that my driver has timed out, which is what the issue is. So it's a graphics card timeout which is causing these problems, and you saw that live. Normally at that point where it stutters that hard, the game gets killed. Now I have been using and looking for things online to help try and fix certain issues. I can't remember the name of the program exactly, but there is something that I've been trying to use, and that is the first time it's actually come through for me there, I believe, where the game's gone, nope, continue to run regardless of that driver crash out. So you've all seen that, but you can see my problem here is that is an issue with either AMD or an issue with Gearbox not fixing whatever the issue is. I believe it to be a shader issue, and I don't know how to fix that, apart from doing the usual thing of resetting the shaders on the AMD part. But ultimately, this game has performance issues across the board, and I am frustrated to all hell that it is the case. I would love this game to be actually at a point where I can just enjoy it for what it is. And I do want to play through the game. I do want to be able to say to people, this is a good game. Like, you know, if I end up spending time doing that. But as of right now, do not buy this game on PC until, I'm just going to say January of next year. Give it some time, let them patch it. Like, some people are going to have zero issues at this point, right? But if you're like maybe on a lower spec PC or whatever, you're just going to have issues. And it also doesn't help that Randy Pitchford, the CEO of Gearbox, has been absolutely spouting utter crap as usual. That man has put a lot of pressure on the Gearbox devs, who I do feel bad for. But you know what you're doing. This isn't your first game that you've put out, right? You know what's going to happen when you put out a game like this on PC. Start with the lower end stuff, make sure that works, and work your way up, right? Not the other way around. Like, I'm not saying make it run on the absolute, like, 20-year-old hardware. You know, I'm just saying that some of the stuff that's going to be targeting more 30 to 40 frames, make sure it runs on that, on the low settings, that there aren't any issues, there aren't any timeouts with the graphics card, things like that. I get it, making a game for PC is hard. However, it's still frustrating. You've had time to make this game. This game's been in development for years. This stuff, I'm sure, has been tested, but clearly wasn't tested thoroughly enough. Right? And again, no shade thrown to the actual Gearbox devs. They're doing their damnedest, I'm sure. But Randy, keep your mouth shut, right? And let these people do their job to try and fix this game. As it stands right now, do not recommend this game on PC. I will come back in time. If I've now managed to find a fix for my driver crash out, I will come back and I will tell people about it and how I've done it once I've had a bit more of a look into it. But right now, this is a game that I would just avoid. If you're going to get it on console, great. I don't have that luxury up until the Switch 2 version comes out, which I know is already going to be a pared down version. But yeah, I'm disappointed. Right? I put that PSA out where I was like, oh, it just doesn't work. Now it definitely works better, but I wouldn't say it's like great. So yeah, there you go. There's my unfortunate thoughts having to do this. I do hope that I can come back and do a more positive video in the future. Anyway, that's going to do it for me today then, guys. Thank you so much for watching, as always. If you like the video, hit like. If you want to see more content and stuff on this game and other games coming forward, hit the subscribe button. And until then, I will see you next time.